You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is Fun Friday, hanging out with you guys. I don't know if Fun Friday is a real part of our show, but Marriage Monday is a part of Growing Green podcast show. So shout out to Jeremiah Jennings. Fullerton Unfiltered podcast here, hanging in beautiful Florida. Another podcast, running foot to mouth, hand to mouth right now. Just bringing you guys content, trying to keep the show alive and going. And frankly, we got another week or two, and it's really dropped the hammer down type season. But today, taking advantage of another special guest that is actually still in our proximity, still hanging out with us. That is the man, Blake Albertson with B&B Lawn Care. What's going on, man?
Howdy, howdy. What's going on, dude?
He's so funny. He's just like, how is he going to introduce me this time? This time. Doing good here. You're on my cord, bro. There you go. Don't crimp my wire. Through the mic, through the wire. Is that Kanye? We can start singing on my show now since we're jamming out to Lincoln Park on yours. But just having a really beautiful day over here. Actually, family's having a kind of a break of a day. You guys have a transition travel day. You're going a couple hours south or east of us. You're here for a little bit longer still in Florida. We get another day or two, and then we're headed back. But the kids were wiped out since we went to, is it Animal Kingdom? No.
Magic Kingdom.
We're going to Animal Kingdom tomorrow. You guys are headed to your Airbnb for going to the beach or whatnot. But the kids are wiped out. So we're just kind of actually having a lazy day, which I'm all about that life, bro, because I'm wiped out.
Dude, it's a
lot.
This place is so big.
I felt like I walked 12 miles yesterday. Like legit.
It's wild, bro.
All we did was walk.
Yeah. No, the running joke was like we went and found food, and then it was like we're walking around like we need to go find some food.
That's it.
Like there's nothing else to.
An hour goes by, you're like, I have a headache. I need to get some caffeine. You get a Coke. Then you're like, hey, we should probably get some food. and then next thing you know, if you got kids, you guys have been there, done that. You go in, you finally get there at 10 because I don't know what you're getting there at 7:30 in the morning, and then riding buses or monorails, or I don't even know. And then you're trying to get the kids some decent nutrition, which doesn't really happen. And then
it's like waffles, cookies,
sugar, just crazy. Then they're on high highs and low lows. Then they get all emotional because we're all eating garbage food. But we did get to watch the Magic Kingdom fireworks last night with all the kids. And you've got two that are 3 years old?
4
years old.
Yep.
And then Emmy, our little girl, is 2.5, going on 12, going on 16, I swear. People always say, oh, she's 9 going on 19. And now I really get it. I mean, I'm like, hey, you want to hang out? She goes, no. I said, no. And I'm like, you want to like, you want to high five? She goes, no, I hang with mommy. Okay, then, God bless your child. So, but we did the fireworks, and then, man, they were all just wiped out after that, which was awesome. So, while we're here trying to take advantage, we shot a couple YouTube videos, which was fun, just kind of hanging through the park, not the Magic Kingdom park. We're not taking YouTube videos in there.
A literal park.
But wherever this little park is at the hotel, it's actually really nice. It's really chill. It's like a beautiful little Florida day, just kind of hanging out. So we did a couple YouTube videos. We said, hey, let's do a podcast. I want to get you on here because, dude, you've been doing this for quite a long while. You want to talk about finances and money and trucks and all this stuff we were just talking about?
Yeah,
or unless you have a different topic.
I'm down for anything. Down for anything. I think it's super important because I think everybody...
Like a great debate is going on right now in the industry of paying cash.
In the world, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody has this weird feeling about the economy and everything like that. But like we were talking yesterday, you can only let that affect you so much. Mm-hmm. Like, it's your business and it's your life. Like, the grass is still growing this year. You know, like, that's all that matters.
It's still going to be a couple $1 trillion of GDP this year.
Yeah.
For everybody to go take a piece of the cookie jar.
Yeah. So, I mean, really all you can focus on is your life and your business. And so, yeah, we were just chit-chatting, and he's like, hey, let's throw this on a podcast, because I think it's if you and I have this conversation and these questions, it's like we're not the only ones.
Well, and not only do I mean, it's still a question. I have answers. Like, for me, I always say, like, I've got it figured out for me. I don't have it figured out for you, because I've like made my peace. I've said this many times lately, like about many different topics: relationship, child rearing, spirituality / religion. Like, I've done my research on a bunch of stuff, and I just have made my own philosophy. Like,
yeah,
not like it's anything that's not already out there. I'm just saying I know what I subscribe to. Mm-hmm. But as I continue to get around more people, more successful people, you guys listening into the show, I get around you guys, I get around Blake's, I get around my wife, I get around Caleb and Brittany Allman, Jeremiah and Savannah, Corey Ballard, Troy Clark. When I'm hanging out, I'm always like, hey, what do you think about this? Or what's your thoughts on that? I'm not looking for gospel. I'm just like, hey, what do you think? And that's all you do. You just kind of ask the next guy, what do you think? And then, of course, you do your books and your reading and your podcasting, your business podcast stuff. But the more successful people I get around, and I always say like, hey, what do I know? I got $12 to my name. It's been a good last 18 months. What do I know, right? Hey, somebody who has 2 million, 10 million, 20 million, 50 million, 100 million. What are you doing with your money? What would you think? What would you say? What would you do? Hey, if you were me, trying to accelerate your life, how would you do something? Where would you go? And that sparks some wild conversation. So that's what I thought. I'm like, hey, if you and I are bantering on some of these YouTube videos just now, and we're just kind of shooting the breeze as we've been hanging out for the last 2.5 days, it's kind of like, what's working? What's not working? What's your thoughts? What was your previous approach? Yeah. And like, what are you doing now? So I'm going to just tee that back over to you. And any thoughts on that broad topic in general, like anything observation-wise you're going to come at?
Yeah, I mean, so I hit this on a YouTube video a couple days ago. I'll sum it up as quick as I can. When I was a kid, let's say from 15 to 21, I lived with my parents at their house. Okay, I had zero housing, food expenses. Mm-hmm. Okay, so basically any money I make, I can put right back in the business, which is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
I can't even imagine having that opportunity.
Yeah,
and what a blessing.
I think everybody, like if you're young and you're able to do that, do it for as long as possible.
Right?
You have to go through those awkward years of like everybody graduating high school, and we're moving into the dorms, or we have our own apartment. And it's like, that's cool, but I have the rest of my freaking life to do that.
Right.
So if I can save that $12,000 on the dorms or apartment or whatever a year and buy a new mower, that's what I did. And, you do 6-7 years of that and you're setting yourself up for a pretty good battle.
Dude, absolutely. Do you mind if I interrupt really quick? Because I want to piggyback what you just said. We had a link conversation about this in our private Facebook group link. Did a live stream with you the other night, by the way. If you guys didn't hear that Wednesday replay, which I got a lot of great feedback, including on that live phone call that just happened. My phone was connected to your mixer and the Bluetooth was on.
Yeah.
And tried to handle some customer service real time. And you're like, I thought I was the only one that gets these crazy expectation customers. I had a couple people say like, dude, you got to get more of that. I'm like, well, I don't know how I lucked out.
That was the luck of a draw.
That was luck of a draw. And then also luck of a draw that I pulled that voicemail. So if you missed the tail end of Wednesday's show, you're missing out. But we had a great live stream, a lot of value added there. We have our link membership. It's a private Facebook group. You're going to hear me talk about it a lot because that's where hundreds of conversations are happening and comparing notes in the group. And I'm like, dude, a podcast comes out 3 times a week. A YouTube video comes out 2-3 times a week. Yeah, we got 1,000 videos. But dude, if you have a real-time question about a contract, a proposal, what mower to buy, what to do next, like put it in the link. Ask that question. 12 people will comment. We'll get you your answer. Bro, let's grow. Like this is the velocity which now you can grow at.
At Lawntrepreneur Academy, we believe in a community where success is amplified, not diminished by helping others. Introducing the Lawntrepreneur Academy Link Membership, your ticket to a thriving lawn care business. Join our exclusive Lawntrepreneur Academy Link Facebook group where like-minded entrepreneurs share insights, advice, and encouragement. It's not just a group, it's a family dedicated to your success. As a Link member, you'll enjoy monthly hangouts to connect with fellow lawn care professionals, bidding hour calls to sharpen your business acumen, and enlightening lessons from industry experts in our monthly guest expert series. And here's the icing on the cake, our monthly group coaching calls where your specific challenges are addressed and you receive personalized guidance to excel in your business. Yeah, there's more. Gain exclusive access to the lessons from Brian, the mastermind behind Lawntrepreneur Academy. With call records, PDF recaps, and more, you'll have a treasure trove of resources at your fingertips. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to revolutionize your lawn care business. Join Lawntrepreneur Academy Link membership today, and let's grow together. Visit lawntrepreneur.academy.com and sign up now, or use the link in the podcast description. Lawntrepreneur Academy Link, your link to success.
And there's a young kid that just had a really good question. Tanner Steinborn, I think is how you say his name. But he's just getting a little bit older. He's 6 years into this thing, did about 290 grand, a bunch of weekly mowing, he's looking to grow. And he had some really good questions. Imagine being able to ask this to 160 members that we have in this group. And eventually we'll have 1,000, 2,000. He said, I got 4 options here. Like, where do I go next with my business? Do I stick to one crew? Do I rent storage spaces and invest into a second crew? Do I get my own home and just work out of my home? Or do I get, do I rent and then go get some lockers and continue to grow the business? You know, and I'm thinking to myself, my answer was, and there's already 4 or 5 comments on this. Somebody just said this with an exclamation point with a thumbs up. My comment, Nick Haggerty, he said, I told this young man, I said, love that you provided the solution as possible options to your question. Way to use your noggin on this one. Congrats on all the growth, by the way. I said, my thoughts are simply this. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to grow? What do you want your business to look like? And I said, I'd personally stay at home, keep the expenses as low as possible, dump everything into the business and growing crews, operate out of a small rental yard or a shop or office or even some lockers. Unless you're engaged to be married or married, I see no immediate need to rush out the door and triple your expenses. Stay at home, triple your income, pay off your debts, and accelerate your business to the next profitable tier. And I'm thinking to myself, my gosh, if I had the opportunity of B&B Lawn Care, some of these kids, you know, I call them kids,
right,
from 15 to 25,
yeah,
maybe you throw your parents a bone. Hey, here's $200 for groceries. But give me a break. Unless you got a girl or a wife or a kid coming, there's, and I'm not like the stay at home till you're 34.
Yeah, but don't rush out to try to like
keep up with your friends Joneses.
Yeah, exactly.
They just bought the little 2-bedroom starter home.
You're going to get that crap your whole life,
At
bro.
every level. At every level.
I just got that new promotion. I just got that big bonus at my corporate job. You know, it's like
peer pressure.
Just keep on going, bro. Just like you got to just shutter your eyes. Like one of the, you know, the horse racing where they cover the sides.
Yep.
It's just like that is all distraction.
When you're 23,
your whole life,
you get the little 2.2 for 180 grand. Then you're 30, you get the little 3.2 for 350. Then you're my age, you know, you become an old fart and you're 38, and then people start getting that 600, 700 grand home. That's 3,500 square feet. Nice, you know, baller subdivision home.
Right.
And it's like peer pressure at every levels. And I'm just thinking like, dude, no.
Yeah. And then they go get the Beamer and you're like, oh, I got the Ford. And it's just like, who cares,
you're like, I bought 2
bro?
mowers, but you got a new Porsche. And you feel like a loser, even though like, in theory, you're probably beating them at the game.
Right.
But it's all optics. So anyway, you just had said that you stayed at home and you were dumping everything in the business. Like we just talked about that comment this morning on Link. Somebody had that question.
Yeah.
Great question.
So, yeah. So, dude, I stay there as long as possible. So we were doing 2 things. We were reinvesting. I was reinvesting into my business cash. Like if I had
grown like crazy,
if I had $10,000, I could just go buy a $10,000 mower.
Right.
And then like I still have food to eat. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And
Sorry,
so
I had to take the obligatory photo for Instagram. Thumbs up.
And so, you know, that you can't do that when you have a kid.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's
like,
harder.
And I have a mortgage payment. You know, you can't, if you have 10 grand, you can't just spend 10 grand. And so that was a unique opportunity. I think it's really cool for young guys.
Paid big dividends.
They're like, dude, at 17, you can just spend every dollar back in your business and it's going to pay. Like, have you heard the best investment is back into your business? Because you can buy a mower and make $100 grand with it this year
all the time
on a $10,000 investment. Where else can you do that?
I say if you're not investing into yourself first and then your equipment or your business number 2, you're messing it up.
Yeah.
Also, but here's an interesting dynamic. What if you would have been taught how to leverage maybe some stuff at that age group too?
Yeah.
You could have had 5 times the size business. So we'll get into that. We'll get into that.
I agree.
So go back. What you were saying growing up, you're pay cash kind of a kid.
Yep.
And look, I'm 100% not here to sway anybody on any approach financially. Okay. I think you got to figure out yourself, figure out your mentality, your philosophy, what you subscribe to.
Yeah.
Everybody's financial quote unquote IQ is different, right? What you're comfortable with. Some people having $100 on a credit card will literally make them puke.
Right.
For me, I ran like 300 grand I think like last quarter through a credit card, and I got like 4 flights on my Delta Sky Miles.
Yes.
I don't mind that. No fees, no interest. Everything's paid off, paid for, cycling a bunch of expenses of the home, you know, through our credit cards. Other people, they would literally puke at that thought, you know? So just little, what do they call them? Disclaimer. Whatever we say here, you got to figure out what works for you, but go ahead.
Yeah. You got to figure out, again, how you can sleep at night. You know, because again, a lot of people can't sleep at night when there's, you know, $20,000, $30,000 on a credit card.
Sure.
And I would probably be one of those people if I didn't have the 20 or 30 grand. You know what I'm saying? Like the thing is we were talking about this, Brian. It's so important to switch your mindset from a business owner from a somebody that just works like a W-2 job.
Yeah.
You know, and personal finance and business finance are two very different things. You know, we were talking like even from
making money standpoint,
making money, tax, you know, deduction reasons. It's a very different world owning a business and your personal expenses and things like that. And so I think just learning and being around people that are actually running big, successful businesses, if that's what you want to do and you want to start growing your business, you almost have to start treating finances the same way that the people that are doing $5, $10, $20 million a year are doing, because it's very different than $100,000 business.
Totally.
Like I feel like I'm in this little mixed area right now where like the one man crew is probably like 150,000 and under.
Yeah.
You know, which I've been my whole life, you know, or way under that. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
$40,000. But to go from that to 500 to $1 million and beyond, you really have to start thinking in different ways and treating money in different ways.
Give me some examples. Quantify that for me.
Okay.
So like where you were, where you're at now.
Okay. So
what's popular opinion?
Let's take springtime, for example. Well, now I'm going to have 4 or 5, 6 employees starting out. So if we don't change our business at all, we were billing at the end of the month, 30-day net. So we're waiting 60 days. We start April 1st. I'm paying my guys.
April.
Yeah, 5, 6 guys, April, May, before I get my first check.
If they pay you.
I have to. I mean,
if Susie remembers to pay you.
Right. And so imagine if you have zero cash.
Right.
You can run for 2 weeks, bro.
Right.
Like you're going to have those expensive pile up. So you have to have cash on hand. That's just how it is. And so, for example, if I need a new truck this year, you know, which we're like right in that scenario. I just told you we have a 2010 F-250 and man, it's strong, but it's like, it's time.
It's starting to become that problem
that
truck.
Feeling, you know?
Yeah.
Alternators all the time. It's time.
Yep.
But if I go out and blow, you know, let's say I had 40 grand cash and I go out and blow 40 grand cash, how am I going to start up paying 5 or 6 guys in the springtime?
Absolutely. You
know what I'm saying? So as the business grows, the way we have to utilize our money and assets is different. You know, I'm not the 17-year-old kid living at home anymore.
Right. Or the owner operator business.
Yeah. We have real expenses, and cash management is becoming, you know, one of those really important things.
It's one of the most important things. I mean, I've always heard people, and you guys have probably heard me say this if you listen to quite a few shows, one of the number one reasons people go out of business is their taxes. They don't pay their taxes, you know, federal, state, and then sales tax. But then number 2, it's usually it's not divorce or an ulcer or, you know, some health challenge. It's they don't have any cash. They don't have any cash to reinvest. They don't have any cash to grow. They don't have any cash for inventory. Or they're not good at cash flow management. So like you said, 60, 90 days later, when you start getting paid for all that spring work, things come in and then you go buy, a Denali pickup truck and you forgot to pay off all your spring rush bills. And now you have those bills starting to kick in plus this new truck, and you went and bought a boat, you know, or a truck or some stupid stuff. I always say Denali, you know, some doodads versus like being responsible and paying that stuff off.
Now on the flip side, there's still if you're just not good at money, I mean, you can get in some serious problem. I mean, look at Toys R Us. They went down because they were over leveraged. You know, all these major companies, they went out, spent money because they thought their sales would continue to grow. You know, Toys R Us is a deep story. It's actually like, you think Amazon and all that, but just not doing the right things to bring in the right amount of sales and growing your business and borrowing too much money on the expectation your business is going to continue to grow.
Sure.
And so I think people, if you don't know, you're not, I think you say like financial intelligence. If you're just out blowing money, and the sales don't come in like you expected, I mean, that's how you get in trouble. And that's why people get on to the, cash first finance topic and the Dave Ramsey topic. Like, we've discussed
profit first guys.
Years.
Yeah. The profit first cruise.
Yeah. It's because of the horror stories of people that suck with money.
Right.
Overspending.
Which is that's why everybody's got strong opinions, right? Because it's more, we talked about this on the tail end of Wednesday's show. It's more of an emotional conversation, finances, than it is a logical, rational one.
Yep.
Right. Like I've heard somebody say once, you want to know how people think or how people are wired, mess with their money, right? Like owe somebody $100. I don't care if they're your best friend, and dude, you'll find out that guy's your best friend, or if that guy, dude, all kinds of weird, crazy stories, right? You owe an employee $50 or $100 or $500. Well, I'm not coming in until I get paid. You're like, whoa, it's like the attitude changes really quickly. Yeah. Or, have $100,000 in your account and see the wife's attitude versus if you have $2,000 in the account and, next week is payroll. I've been on both ends of that spectrum. Money is a very charged topic. And most of us haven't really grown up with any financial money management education. Frankly, I would imagine. I mean, I know I didn't.
Yep.
As a middle-class kid, public school system, there has never been any kind of formal education talking about money other than maybe like an accounting class.
And by the way,
in high school,
it might not be the right financial education.
Totally. Like maybe your church is taught one thing and you believe a different thing.
This is the point in the road, Brian, where the conversations start to fork off into directions we might not think when it comes to education and things like that, preparing you to go to college, preparing you to get a job.
What do you mean?
All right, Brian, here it is.
It's unfiltered.
Okay. So your personal finance classes, like you always see these things online and you think them probably too. I was never taught how to pay taxes. I was never taught how to even buy a house or bring in income. You were never even taught how to make money in school in personal finances. Like, have you ever thought about that? How freaking you are sending people out into the world most of the time with crazy college debt, and you never even taught them how to make freaking money.
Yeah, or balance a checkbook.
It's just so it's ridiculous, dude.
Well, and I always say when people bring stuff up like that, I go, well, number one, you go, man, it's absolutely wild. How ridiculous is this? But then the other side is you get older and you put on the tinfoil hat, you realize maybe they're not teaching you that for a reason.
Bro, here we go. I told you we're at the fork in the road and we're going down the path. Okay, so imagine.
Because even if you're the staunchest critic, you got to realize whether you disagree with what I'm saying or you're not a conspiracy, you're more grounded, you're rooted. They say, what's the difference between a conspiracy theory and the truth? Give it about 6 to 9 months. Right?
Yeah.
We'll go to the COVID shot. We'll cure COVID. Then it's it just kind of reduces. Well, it's not really.
No, you can still get it.
You can still get it and transfer it. We don't really know what it does. And so, but get your 5 boosters. What is the booster boosting? No more questions. We'll cancel you. Oh, appreciate that, bro. And some of you guys right now are like fist pumping in the truck. You're like, yeah, get him. And the other guys are like, I'm turning this guy off. He's a lunatic. Well, but you got to just look at the facts. Where is personal finances being taught? Nowhere. And if it is it like what you want to subscribe to?
Again, if you're going to be a business owner, it's probably not the right advice.
I would argue that it's not, typically.
Okay, imagine. I just think back. Like, it was like kindergarten. It's like, well, you're taking naps, but you can't take naps anymore because you got to get prepared for 1st and 2nd grade.
Right.
Then it's like, we started doing cursive, and it's like 6th grade, you can't do anything but cursive. And you get 6th grade, and it's like normal writing. I've never done anything cursive, right?
I struggle to even write cursive anymore.
And then it's like, in high school, they're not going to put up with any of that. It's like, you have to get your homework, and it's going to be hard, and blah, blah, blah. And then it's like,
they drill it into
nothing. Then they're like, but for college, it's going to be serious. I mean, you think about it, that's 20 years of your life, right?
Right.
And then I didn't go to college. I went to college and then I dropped out. And then it's just like, well, for your job, it was always just dangle like something in front of you to just keep you swimming. And then it's like you get out in the real world and then you go and there's $2,500 a month rents and nobody can afford it anymore. And it's like, well, I got signed up. I don't even know when I got signed up for $100,000 college debt.
Right.
But I have to pay it now.
Right.
And nobody can afford anything and nobody can get a job that pays for all this stuff. And it's like, nobody taught you, bro.
Yeah.
You were just like, shimmied your way through school.
And I saw an Instagram post a long time ago. Somebody said, why even go to school after middle school? Like, they're not teaching you anything that you didn't, like, there's no new things that you're really taught. Okay, maybe a little biology class.
Unless you
class.
know what R is, 20R.
Radius, pi squared.
It's
the quadratic
X.
formula.
You got to find X.
Yeah,
it's like,
solve for X.
When has that ever came into your life?
Dude, I bought the camper. I called up my girl at our credit union. She didn't even ask me. They didn't even, I don't even think they pulled credit. They're just like, yeah, go ahead. I go based on the accounts. We're not rich or anything. Dude,
do you like geometry? Like
she just,
X is.
She wasn't like, hey, solve for Y. She wasn't like, hey, what's your GPA? You know, she wasn't like, hey, give me your transcripts from high school. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. And that Instagram comment, somebody said like, well, school's designed, it's teach you math, reading, writing, and basic stuff. It's not designed for you to be successful. It's not designed to teach you how to be successful. Then what are we learning? Unsuccessful information, like tinfoil hat. But then people are always like, no, I definitely learned this stuff. It's definitely in school. You just weren't there. You just didn't know, or you just weren't paying attention. And I go, as somebody who had perfect attendance for the last 4 years, for the 4 years of high school in my 8th grade, I will tell you, I didn't miss a day. I might have slept a little bit more than the average bear, but it was never taught. So it's not taught there. Maybe, and then there's a really good book out there. If you guys, people always asking, hey, Brian, what's a good book? If you want to talk about education, there's a really good book called Dumbing Us Down. And it always talks about school systems. And like everybody thinks their school is the good school. No, we send our kids to good schools. We don't send our kids to a bad school. This is a top-ranked school in our area, one of the top-ranked schools in this county. That's why we moved here. And I go, right. And the book brings up a point. When have you ever heard anybody say, no, we sent our kid to a bad school? No, that's the bad school. Where is this arbitrary, fictitious bad school? Where is it at? If everybody says, no, our school is the good school, but nobody sends their kids to the bad school, where is the bad school? Well, you don't realize that your school that you're sending to that you think is the good school, it's probably not the good school. It's probably just regular, average, middle-class thing. And by the way, I got to say this one last thing. I saw a reel. It was like, I'm not prepared to raise my kids because I was brought up in a school system that didn't teach me how to be successful. So what I'm going to do is send my kids to school to teach them how to go to a system that's going to teach them how to be successful. Right? Like, do you not get the self-perpetuating feedback loop of moronic thinking? I'm not prepared for success, so I'm going to send my kids to the same system that didn't prepare me for success and to help them prepare for success.
It's not like, hey,
it's absurd.
Bro, it's just like, I don't know. I don't know.
People like, it's either,
I don't know what to tell you.
It's either conspiracy or it's design. And anybody who's over 30 is starting to realize how the world works.
So if it was true though, and I'm a college dropout, so how could I ever be successful? Like in that thinking, you know what I mean?
Dude, that goes back to a lot of people who have heard my story. You've heard my story. Like we've been best friends forever for like, 7 years now? But it was ingrained in Michigan, bro, where I graduated high school. It's like, which school are you going to?
Yep.
That was like phraseology wise, that's how it was communicated to you. Which big three are you going to go work at? Oh, I'm a General Motors. Okay, then you're going to go to engineering school at University of Michigan. Oh, I'm going to be a business major. I want to go work at Ford. Okay, you want to go to Michigan State University for their 4-year business degree. Oh, I want this with an emphasis on that with a master's so I can be an executive or something one day. Okay, you're going to go to Eastern Michigan with their 6-year program for this. With that'll job place you here. It's all figured out.
They don't even give you the option for entrepreneur.
It's not even a question. It's not even available. I always say present the other side. Nobody's ever even presented the other side.
This girl, I remember it like it was yesterday. She asked the same thing. What do you do? It's like that week or two before graduation or whatever. Like,
sure.
What are you doing? What school are you going to? What are you majoring in? Oh, I'm going to run my lawn care business here. And she's like snarky, pretentious, like,
Yeah.
I'm going to and it's like,
I'm going to Kansas City State.
And people like take that and roll with it their whole lives.
That's their identity.
As like we were talking about like the doctor thing, like making you call them doctor, whatever, out in the world.
You have an ex-customer.
Yeah, and it's just like
that makes you in your crew call them doctor. And you're like, yeah, no.
It's disgusting, dude. It's so silly.
Why doesn't an entrepreneur get the same bill? You know, in terms of, hey, you've been doing something for 10, 12 years, dedicated at your craft.
Right.
So am I. Nobody calls me Dr. Fullerton.
Yeah.
Nobody calls me doctorate of entrepreneurship, Fullerton. I say, go run it. You know, statistically, after a decade, you're an anomaly if you're still out there making money.
Right.
So why statistically, if I'm the anomaly, why don't I get any credit or recognition? But because societally, this person took out $750,000 to $1 million and then makes 200 to 750 grand a year in income, they get the status, the prestige, and the income. But if you're an entrepreneur doing the same thing because you got 5 asphalt crews running, doing asphalt, you know, paving and seal coating nights and weekends with 21 employees and admin and office, you're just a scrubby, self-employed, bummy, small business owner.
But it's 30 times harder than most office jobs.
Oh my God. And it's stressful. But then when that guy has 5 crews working and he's worth, you know, making $3,000 a labor hour in terms of like true maybe company net profit, and the surgeon's making $1,500 an hour, not to play the compare game, but it's like, homie's doing just as good, bro, if not better. Yeah. And it's always surprising. I have a lot of self-employed, or not self-employed, but employee friends now, part of HOAs and boards and all that stuff. As we get into more of these HOAs, a lot of foreigners, they make money, but they always say like, how much to get this done? And I give them numbers. They go, I don't even make that. Yeah. At my surgeon job, I go, you ever think there's other ways of making money? And you're not the only one out here making money.
I actually had that this year, and it was like, it was a step back. I was like, what the flip? Mm-hmm. Like to have somebody say, I don't even make that. I go, okay.
Bro, do you want a funny story?
Yeah.
I get on the phone, and this is always fun because you never know what's happening. But I get on the phone with Bedell. We're fixing an irrigation for, we're mowing a customer. He's part of the HOA board. New HOA, of course, I'm 3 months in this account. Bedell, I call him up. This guy wants some irrigation work done on his home. So I call Bedell. I just happened to be like, hey, let me call my irrigation guy to see where he's at. I call Bedell. He goes, hey, what up, dude? I'm like, hey, just working. Hey, got a quick question for you. Got a customer here. And I don't think he knew that I was on speaker or something or within an earshot. Indian guy. And he's medical. You know, he does something. He's making a couple $100,000. Nice home, nice car, nice guy. You know, nice guy. But Bedell's, you know, got a mower going on in the background or a Z-spray spraying lawns. And I'm like, yeah, he's got some repairs, a little this, a little that, blah, blah, blah. And Bedell goes, yeah, unless he wants to spend $5,000 with me tomorrow at a job minimum, he goes, it's not going to get on the schedule. And like he says it jokingly and funny. And he's in a rush. He's working and stuff like that. And I look at my customer, I go, you think it's about $5,000 worth of work? And he goes, like shakes his head, no. Clearly no. He's like probably got like $250 worth of repairs. And I go, all right, well, if anything, I'll circle back with you. I'll let you know what the customer says. So I hang up with Bedell, and I look back at him, and he goes, you know, in his best Indian voice. And if I say it, I'll get canceled. But he's like, you know, people want me to do the accent right now. You know, no, don't get, you know. But he said something like, seems like your friend is doing pretty good. And I go, yeah. I said it's, you know, give me a couple grand a day to get anything on his schedule. I said, I'm willing to bend over backwards for $50 right now. I'll serve and take care of anything, you know, because that's just how I am. But, you know, at that level, Bedell's like, yeah, unless he wants to drop $5,000 with me, it ain't going to happen. You want me to do it again, don't you?
I want you to do it again.
It's not going to happen again. It's a one-time show.
If you saw in person, it was 30 times better, I promise.
That's 30% of our market it's Indian, African American, Black, and white. I mean, and Hispanic. I mean, we're a melting pot in Michigan. I mean, for sure. So every culture is wild. Every culture is different. Everybody's got stereotypes. And you know, we have a bunch of everybody. You know, but it was just funny because like the guy was like, "There's $400 worth of work," and he's expecting us all to like drop our little tools and like bend over backwards for him. I'm like, bro, that's not how it works. Like, I know you're a surgeon making $300,000, $400,000, $800,000. No offense. And not that we're all making that, but I'm just saying it doesn't work that way. You don't get priority. Now, if you want to go pay $800 for your $400 job, we can make room on the schedule, but you're not going to like, your calamity is not my problem.
This was like I think it was a leaf cleanup. It was like just a normal residential house. Okay. I gave her the price. She go, I don't even make that. I go, Like it's like one of those things you like look around for cameras. You're like, what?
Who says stuff like that?
What? It was so random and weird. It's like one of those things that somebody says, and you're like, for the next hour, you're like,
what does it even mean?
What am I missing? Because it doesn't make any sense, And so,
what was it like? $450? Yeah, like 2 hours of the work.
Exactly.
Like, I don't even make
for
that.
this amount of leaves. Yeah, for this amount of leaves.
Look at the trailer, lady.
It's like
the truck is $60,000. That and you start doing that. I'm like, I got $120,000 in front of your house.
And
what are you talking about?
The confidence of the world gives you if you do what they say to do.
Well, again, I don't know if it's confidence or just being beaten down, for so long. you just, I don't know if I'm just like waterboarded to like my last glimmer of life left at my age. I'm just like between like customers beating me down and half the internet beating me up. You're just like, look at dude, nothing's moving here unless it's $1,000 of this or $10,000 of that. I just don't care. I don't need it. I don't want it. I'd rather just hang out with my wife and my kids or go hang out with my buddies or go catch a movie. Yeah. And it's probably the old, Caleb Allman talks like this a little bit. He's like, it's the old chiseled vet contractor that's like, I'm not here to play games. I don't want, I got a pool guy, you quoted me 110, but he said 62. You're like, listen, I don't even care to spend 30 minutes educating you on why yours is 62 and mine's 110. Go get the 62
you just start
guy.
Turning around and walking away.
You just start walking away. For real. And it's like, call me in 2 years when that thing fails and we'll fix it. And it's going to cost you 2.5 times as much. And by the way, when your insurance wants to make a claim and asks me my professional opinion, I'll tell them that you cheaped out on the base layer and you went with a cheaper company and you're not going to get this approved. And you're going to be out an extra $100,000.
Well, and we've all seen that with the mowing companies and they call you like 3 weeks later.
Oh, yeah.
But with aeration and overseeding, dude, we get it all the time. Like when somebody's like, no, that's too much because we're doing the right process.
Sure.
And then they go with somebody else and the freaking grass never changes.
There's no result.
It's wild. And then it's like, well, next year we're going to do the same thing, but now you've wasted a whole year and all that money.
My favorite's when they get Billy to come cut the lawn, who's 15.
Yeah.
And I love it. Shout out to all the Billies. I was a little Billy, hanging out, trying to make money. But, does a horrible job, shoots the grass clippings into the road, and then they come home into their beautiful $500,000 subdivision home and they got grass clippings in the middle of the road, clearly from that lawn. It's all scalped because, Billy's got a flat tire, doesn't know it, or it's on 2 PSI. And then they canceled you because Billy's going to do it for $20. He passed out flyers, which is awesome. Like, I encourage that, like, obviously. But it's like, no problem, dude. We'll see you in 12 months because Billy's going to get tired or there's going to be a football game or he wants to go to the pool with his friends or go fishing, which is fine. And then, 12, 18 months later, you get them back. That's why that's what the podcast we talked about 2 days ago, I think I titled it Sales Today, Sales Tomorrow, building lasting, reputation or something like that.
Right.
Because that's what you're trying to do with your company.
No doubt that some of you have tuned into this podcast because you've just started or you want to start your own lawn care or landscaping business. Brian has created the How to Start Your Own Lawn Care Business training program. This video course will help you understand the basics and get you moving in the right direction. Some of the topics covered: the startup phase and laying a great foundation, the basics of equipment shopping and purchasing, what to look for when you're shopping for a trailer. I really like the all things marketing and advertising section. The practical tips here alone are worth the cost. The How to Start Your Own Lawn Care Business training program also shows you how to bid and estimate projects. That's helpful just to even see if you want to take on some projects. Brian also shows you best practices for back-end office work and proper workflow. Click the link in the show description for LawEntrepreneur.academy.com and get the How to Start Your Own Lawn Care Business training program for only $99 and join the thousands of people that we've helped achieve success with their lawn care company.
Let's go back to the top, and we'll probably land the plane here because we sold the wives on a half-hour window. We're at 36 minutes, so if we don't button up, we all have bosses to answer to, right, Blake?
Yeah, that's right.
And my customers aren't yelling at me, and the internet's not yelling at me. I did a video, that snowplow is too big. You're gonna burn up your transmission. Like people just yell at you. I'm like, all right, you're right, dude. You're right. You're right. And once all that's done, if I got to get back, and I'm like, Liz, like, where you at? I'm like, she's like, well, you said it'd be a half hour. 2 hours later, I'm like, hey, it went a little bit long, so I don't want to answer to the boss, but I can get in trouble. I'm the leader of my house. Of course you are. Of course. Did you ever see the Avengers movies, the Marvel movies? It was I think I played the clip once with Liz. It was Guardians of the Galaxy, where Thor is in like the spaceship, and then Star-Lord's in the spaceship, and there's like this blue star map, and then like scrolling through, the graphics, and Star-Lord's like, everybody on this ship knows who's in charge here. And then Thor like goes, of course, and he like moves the map. And Star-Lord goes, when you say it that way, it makes it feel, and then you touch my map, it makes me feel like maybe you don't understand who's in charge, or maybe was this a miscommunication? And Thor's like, no, of course not. Of course not. It's your ship. You're in charge. Everybody here knows who's in charge, and then they all start like chuckling, like, ha ha ha. And then Star-Lord's like, me, I'm in charge. And then Thor's like, course. So it's like, oh, I'm in charge of my house. Of course you are. Of course you are. So that being said, let's go back to the top, wrap up the loop on finances that we're talking about. One thing we covered in the YouTube video that you had shared, which is a really good topic, you had me talk about on your video on the B&B Lawn Care YouTube channel, how to start a business. If you had $5,000, what would you do?
Yeah.
So I gave two different answers. One, if you want to stay small, pay cash, small little business. The other one's like, hey, if you want to start growing, leverage, and just kind of start getting this thing moving, this is honestly what you have to do. But the main conversation was it takes cash to grow.
Yep.
So let's say you pay cash for everything, but you don't have any money for labor, materials, and marketing. Like, you're in a jam really quickly, bro.
That, or let's say you need more help.
You want to
expand. You just don't have the money to pay it.
Right.
Like
growth costs money.
Yeah. I'm almost like if we were like
because you were on
like
one side
spigot, right?
7 years ago, and it's now, it seems like you're.
Yeah, I was a kid, bro.
Well,
you know
no,
what I mean?
for sure. That's fair. Yeah, for sure. So where are you at now?
Like,
I guess
we're almost like tightening up the spigot, and like trying to protect
the castle,
the money, because I know that it gives us options.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's life.
Yeah, it gives us options to invest.
Literally oxygen.
Yep. And when I say invest, let's say you could get a phone call right now for a company in your area that you know and has a great reputation and a great business to acquire it. Maybe there's an emergency. Maybe they just are done.
Divorce, something. Yeah.
And you don't have any money. Mm-hmm. You're not going to be able to jump on opportunities like that.
Right.
Because even if you had cash and even if you had to finance some of that acquisition, I mean, you're dealing with people. If you have some money, you have some negotiating power, so
absolutely.
We're just at the point, like, I said this on a video of, we're probably going to look for a $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 work truck. And I am 99% sure that we won't pay for it cash. Mm-hmm. Which was not what I said 5 years ago, but I just understand now that keeping that $50,000 will still allow us to keep the train moving and be able to invest if anything ever comes up, because it happens fast. Like,
sure.
I mean, we went from a phone call to running the company within like a month and a half, 2 months.
Wow.
So you can't come up with that kind of cash just on the whim.
Right.
It's something that has to be everything that we do, everything we spend on has to be intentional, because we know that there's always an opportunity lurking. Mm-hmm. Are you going to be able to jump on it or not?
It's having that war chest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to protect that. It's like, we no longer, now that in the business and now I have a family, I no longer drain my bank account to zero. Mm-hmm. So let's take, if I had $50,000, I want a $50,000 truck. I'm not blowing every dime I have. We're just not able. We're just beyond that, because family, business. We've talked about the expenses to start up in the springtime. I mean, I'm going to have 4 or 5 guys that, their paychecks have to come in.
Well, and again, I'd love to do an encore of this episode. So if you guys enjoy this,
can you get an encore? Play the song, dog.
You got to go back to the B&B podcast. Drops new episodes once a quarter. Which is better than you were in 21.
We're bi-weekly now, dog.
Are you?
It's beautiful.
Dude, praise God.
Check it out.
It's got some good, you guys, I love you and Natalie get on there even. It's been really good. It's good hearing the growth and the conversation that you guys, it's cool seeing where you guys are at mentally, financially, like not financially, but like business, finance, you know, mentality, I guess is the best way to say it. Because you guys are, it's like wet paint around our life right now. Everything's wet paint. Like we just painted that wall. We don't like it. Repaint it. Right? Like different color. Like everything is growing, changing, evolving. I would like to do an encore on this podcast topic, and I want to maybe get some other guests on in the future because there's a lot of big guys that you guys know that I've seen make really interesting financial moves. And again, if maybe you're 40 years old, this is maybe like regular financial IQ conversation for you. And you maybe even just take it for granted, like, duh, this is the way I think. But if you're new and just trying to learn nuance, you're like, what are people doing? Brian, you're telling me that people don't pay cash for things? I get that question a lot. Hey man, I got 10 grand. What 10 grand mower should I buy? I go, any mower you want, because it's $250 a month with 0%, keep your 10 grand, go buy mulch and labor, parlay that into 80 grand, then decide in 12 months if you want to pay off your 9 grand balance, or take that 80 grand that you just made and go flip that into 300 grand. I'm not saying 10X. I'm not a 10X guy, but I'm just saying leverage that to grow even more, get that business growing even more. Then when you got 400 grand coming in, making 200, 150 grand profit, how hard is it to pay off your 7 grand balance on that Toro Multiforce?
Right.
But like everybody gets 10 grand mower, then they're like, I got to go buy a 10 grand mower. Am I going to pay cash? I'm like, dude, you can't pay cash and grow.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work mathematically. This isn't a debate. It just doesn't. Anybody who says anything otherwise, they're trying to sell you something. You cannot pay cash and just continuously grow. I grow at the speed of cash. I would even argue if like that's growth because it's going to take you 40 years to do anything significant.
Yeah. I'm
period.
93% of the way there mentally, like understanding totally and being on that side.
Sure.
Of what you're saying.
And I'm not here to convince.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, it's just how business is.
I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
To finish it up. When we talked, you and me, probably 5 years ago, when you were talking about, when Grant Cardone or somebody says, rent where you live and own what pays you rent.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I don't believe it. Mm-hmm. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Mm-hmm. But now it's like, it's all starting to make sense to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because the best example I have for you is Jonathan Potoshnik, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. I went and visited his
this is great.
company.
This is great.
And
you were telling me the story earlier.
And we're on the drive, and I'm like, oh, so where do you store equipment? You guys have a big shop or something? He goes, no, a storage unit, like a local storage unit. I go,
storage unit?
Like, you guys are this, he's always like this big $10 million company.
City Turf.
And you run out of storage unit? He goes, yeah. I go, why? He goes, we're in the lawn care business, not in the real estate, storage facility business. I don't need a big shop. I just rent because we're in the lawn care business. All that matters is the work that we're doing,
right,
and the actual things that we can bill out and get paid for. And I was like, that messed me up, dude. I was like, a whole new. We're here in Disney, dog.
That's good.
Seriously, dude.
Hold on, let me get my phone out. Can you do that one more time? One-time show?
I'm like, you know what? I feel like we're all thinking about certain things wrong when we want the new shiny truck that's 90 grand. When really the two $40,000 trucks and starting 2 crews is going to make you more money over the 5-10 years than that shiny truck, or wanting a big fancy shop when we could run it out of bare minimum nothing, or wanting the whatever, dude, like mowers or something, just getting what we need to be able to do good quality work and build and make that money.
Yeah. Well, again, I like what you said. You have to figure out what makes sense for you. Yep. Some people, they're like, I gotta rent, or I gotta own my home because I can't throw interest away and equity away because that's what renting is. And I've been taught that from my parents, my church. And you just it's so engrossed in your DNA. It would literally take a 2x4 across your head to like get you to change your philosophy. I'm not here to do that. If you want to do that, it might not even
take that. It might just take a very long time. Again,
right? Sure.
I thought this way for 27 years, and I'm like, now that we're like trying to get into a different level in our business, I'm just learning new things, and my mind is being opened to different things. You know.
And again, I'm not here to sell or convince anybody to do anything. You got to figure out what works best for you. But I love what you said. Like, I know many guys I've done tours with and had conversations with. They might not own as much as you think that they see or that they show. They might have leases or finances or are renting facilities with certain things because they're not in the real estate business. They're not in the equipment owning business. They're in the cash flow business.
It's wild, bro.
And again, how much do you, it sounds weird, but I've been through a lot through the ringer on my social media every freaking day about people criticizing how I've done every single thing. We've rented for a decade. I've rented lockers for 5 years. I've got 4 lockers, then 5, then 3, then 4, then 6, or then I'll sneak something into a locker and just throw a lock on it. I didn't say that out loud because I only need it for a week. But like, you know, all this stuff and people are like, you're throwing money away. You're throwing equity away. You're throwing this away. What do you know? What do you know? What do you know? I'm like, well, I'm trying to like, I'm not going from 101 to 202 to 3. I'm trying to get to like the 404. And all the 404 guys, this is what they're doing. And then you got the 202 guys criticizing the 101 guys in this analogy, saying you're an idiot. And I'm like, well, but the 404 guys, first off, they don't even criticize the 202 guys because they don't play that game. Because you'll never have somebody above you belittling you.
This is
like that.
I'm telling you from my experiences, 100% truth.
Isn't it wild?
Like 100% true.
I'm like, I understand like that's how you got the 202, but I want to go to 404 and you can't really go, it's not always linear 101, 202, 301. Like you have to go 101 to like 303 to like 404. Like sometimes you have to hop skip. It's just what's your game plan? What's your approach? How are you getting there? But so many people like you're renting an apartment, you're throwing equity away. I'm like, actually I saved up $500,000 cash. What did you do in 3.5 years? Well, they got nothing. I'm like, well, you're throwing all your equity away. And again, you can be right or you can be rich. And I'm like, you know what, dude? You're right. You do you, I'll do me. And everybody listening in, for the love of God, I love you. You do you, I'll do me. Let's all win together.
Yeah.
But you have to do you. And if one guy's profit first, and another guy's Dave Ramsey, and another guy's 10X, and another guy's like, I'm in the cash flow business. I lease or I finance things and I rent space and then we churn work. I mean, I have some great folks that I can get on talking about this topic, and we will, through the summer once I can lock some of these people down. But I have guys that have big facilities that you guys know on social, and it's not my story to tell, but they've sold things and they have more money than, they couldn't even spend it if they want it as a war chest to go to the next level.
Yeah.
And you'd think there's no way that guy would rent a building or doesn't own his stuff or doesn't own his skid steers or, you know what I mean? Like they're leased or something like that.
You made me think of one thing that I remember Jonathan saying.
I need to get him on the show. I am a big fan. I remember Jonathan, Lawn Care Millionaire from 2016 days, 14 days.
The ability that if we add another crew, we can just rent another spot.
Sure.
But if we had built a building and we outgrew it, we have nowhere to go, but we are expandable. If you're renting space, he's like, we just, no big deal.
Yeah.
Just put another truck there.
Right.
If we get 5 more trucks, just put 5 more trucks there. Mm-hmm. And so I that really stuck with me. Like, imagine only focusing on, when I get a shop one day, that's it. And then you outgrow the shop.
It's the Holy Grail. Exactly.
It's just wild to me. It's like a whole new way of thinking.
Yeah. A whole new world.
Sing it, baby.
Again, it's interesting conversation. I say that's interesting. When somebody says that's interesting, it's like, like light bulbs go off. And I'm always like, interesting. I've been able to have some really thick conversations with a lot of great people this over the winter. Networking, hanging out, flying, traveling, dude, it's just been awesome. And it's encouraging because the path I'm on that I've always thought that I've been setting myself up for, I'm getting confirmation. Not like, hey, Brian, you're doing a good job. Keep doing that. It's more like, some of these people are 40, 50, 60 years old and they're saying, no, this is what I did back then. here's what I'm, worth. I mean, they don't say it this way, but it's like, here's where I'm at today.
Right.
If you want to get here, here's what I did. What you're doing is what I was starting to do on a micro level, way back when. Yeah. I'm like, oh, cool. Okay. Well, then we're on the right trajectory. And I can go back to my wife and say, hey, I'm not just making stuff up.
I'm not an idiot, honey.
Well, so half the time you wonder, right? I'm like, that's what the books say. That's what this guy says. And then you go through it and you realize like what's true and what's bullcrap. But it is confirmation. And just like that accountability or that confirmation or that confidence is sometimes all that we're looking for. Like like when I'll do a coaching call with somebody, it's not always groundbreaking stuff. It's just like they have 2 or 3 questions, they're jammed up, they're in a bottleneck. Hey, what would you do here? And I'll say, I'm never like, you need to do this, but I'm like, hey, here's your 3 options based on how I see it. This is what you get, this result. This is what happens here. And if you do this, you get that. I don't know. Which one do you think makes the most sense? They usually have an answer because they've already decidedly, philosophically, financially, or relationally, or emotionally made a decision. And I'm like, yeah, I think that's your next move, bro. Sounds like it went good. Or sounds like that's your next move. Give me a shot in 3 months, 6 months, shoot me an email, follow up. That's anybody's on a coaching call knows I say, give me an email, shoot me an email, follow up in 3 to 6 months. I love hearing the follow up.
Yeah, most of the stuff we know, bro. Like
totally.
Like we know that we're not in the real estate business, but we want the shop.
Right.
We want the nice truck. It's like we know we only need a mower, a trimmer, and blower to mow yards.
Sure.
And people. But it's all the other distractions and stuff that messes up.
And that's the best part about social media. I always say, right? And that's the worst part about social media.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's got a way to do it. Everybody's got a shtick, a course, a contract, a group, wants to build their numbers. I don't know, get a brand deal. And that's fine. God bless.
Or they got the brand new truck and you got the 2010 F-250 and you're like, I want the new truck, though.
Yeah, maybe that guy's right. And it's like, dude, you just have to. I've always said, like, we've been doing this for 17 years, 7 years on social. I'm like, we have a track record. If you don't like my track record, go follow somebody else. That's totally fine. You can always take ours and graduate to anybody else that's out there. But if you follow somebody else out there and you explode, you're going to implode financially for a decade. You will not recover for quite a while. So just like I always say with like religion and Christianity, people are like, what if God doesn't exist? I'm like, then all I did was waste a little bit of time. But if you're wrong, are you willing to bet on that? Right? So if I'm wrong, all I did was waste a little bit of time. But if you're wrong, I feel sorry for you for a very long while. So that's some people are like, damn, that got heavy. That's what I do. But this is fun. We've been spitballing this conversation for a day and a half around the park. So it's kind of funny how I'm like, hey, why can't we record and walk at the show or at the park, Magic Kingdom? I'm like, this is a magical conversation. So it never turns off even when you're on vacation, obviously. But we're getting accused from the fam. So we're going to shut this thing down. Appreciate you jumping back on the show. I didn't expect to grab you guys again today. I don't want to be a bother, but I know you were going to be here for a half day with us. And then you guys are transitioning, relocating, and spending some more time in the sun. Thank God. And congrats on that. So where can people find you? The good old let's sign off, man.
Yeah. B&B Lawn Care on YouTube, the B&B Lawn Care podcast, and at B&B Lawn Care KC, TikTok, and Instagram.
Cool. What's the smartest thing somebody's ever told you? Say something smart.
You like that?
It's your thing. So
I know. Probably the old Steve Jobs quote always sticks out to me is if you're not passionate about it, it'll never work out because it's just too dang hard. And there's like months that are just, oh my gosh. I tell Natalie, I'm like, I can't even believe that this is our life. It's amazing. I love everything that's going on. And then boom, 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 boom. Like 5 things happen. You're like, what? What am I doing? Why did I just go to college? I should have just went to college, sat in an office for 40 years.
Yeah.
But it's truly like I am stoked. Like when we saw that mower, a guy mowing here in Florida in February.
We both stopped like idiots.
It's exciting.
It is.
Bro, I hear that. I smell it. I'm stoked for
it's in your DNA.
Springtime. This is truly what I love doing. And there's ups and downs and everything in life. But if you're not really passionate about it, we've seen the guys over the years, even on social media, that come in. They're like, oh, I'm here.
Yeah.
3 months, I'm gone.
Yep.
You never see them again. Mm-hmm. They don't have the passion for it. Mm-hmm. It's even social media. It's like if you don't truly make videos because you want to make it and you enjoy it and you just want to show off what you're doing,
It's not
it
going to last.
sucks, bro. Like there's so much bad that if you don't love it, you won't do it forever.
Right.
And same thing with your business. Same thing with freaking marriage, dude, or whatever.
Yep.
If you're not just in love with it totally, it's too hard. Even marriage, man, life is just too dang hard. There's a lot of things that happen, but we committed to each other, and you know what I'm saying? Me and my wife, it's like one of those things. We deep down love each other, and there's good and there's bad and there's great,
That's right. That's awesome, dude. Great. I mean, that's I would say it's hard to top the whole 40-minute conversation, but I'm like, say something smart. But then here you are saying smarter things. Say something even smarter than that.
All right, man. I haven't even had a coffee today, bro. I need some coffee.
I was gonna say, we could be here for 3 hours. Like, say something even smarter. It's like Inception over here.
Our brains are smoking. I don't know. I don't have anything smarter.
I got nothing. That's good stuff. All right. Well, hey, if you guys are watching, I always got to wrap it up with a bow and say thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you guys for taking time to, you guys got options out there. A lot of great podcasts, by the way, new ones popping up every day. Go to the browse section and check out a bunch of great podcasts. There's a bunch of good stuff out there. I always encourage you guys to keep up on your education. By the way, audiobook, if you guys want a fun one to listen to, the 0 to 100K book. We dropped that this same time last year, but maybe you guys got a couple audio credits to burn from Audible since you haven't been listening to too much stuff through the winter because you've been on the mower all day. So if you guys got a credit to burn, it's like, hey, you have a credit expiring on Audible. If you want to redeem the book, 0 to 100K, written by yours truly, I think I make like $2.93 off of that sale. It's a $15 audiobook, Blake.
Yeah.
But after the profit share, I think you get like literally $2. If you want to support the podcast, it's the best way to do it. That or use a Brian's 10 code somewhere. But God bless you guys. Appreciate you. Have a great rest of the day, rest of the weekend, whenever you guys listen in. And we'll catch up with you guys here on the next one.
Before you turn off the podcast, there are two things that we believe you will be highly interested in. First, if you're looking to stay up to date with the latest trends and insights in the world of lawn care, then you'll want to subscribe to our free email newsletter. It shows up in your inbox 3 times a week and includes a Monday motivational to kick off your week, a Wednesday what's new to keep you informed, and a Friday weekly recap of all the content we put out. The second thing is we have just launched Lawntrepreneur Academy Link. Now you can be a part of an exclusive community that links you to those who can help you grow in your lawn care business. Joining Lawntrepreneur Link will give you the tools that you need to stay accountable, get real-time expert advice, and find belonging in a community of folks who are passionate about the lawn care industry just like you. Visit LawnTrepreneurAcademy.com to learn how Link membership gives you unique access to monthly hangouts, bidding hour calls, coaching calls, expert lessons, and more. Stay ahead of the curve and level up your business with a membership to the Lawntrepreneur Academy Link. Find an easy-to-use link in the podcast description.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.